Hello everyone, welcome back to Real Talks One podcast. Today we are joining to discuss some important concepts that are impacting all of us, whether it is the area of AI, tech in general, and understanding what exactly is going on and what are some of the impacts of generative AI on various different fields uh, beyond tech. And that's what is going to be the focus of this discussion. So, without further ado, I'm going to start out with the defining what an agent is. So, you would have heard several people talking about agentic processes. Every company, large company, have started talking about that they are building their own agents, whether it is Google, OpenAI, Salesforce, Microsoft. Every one of them are launching their own agents, and it seems this new paradigm of generative AI is now going to be dependent upon the agents. So it's very fundamental for us to really understand what an agent is. So right now there is no consensus as to what an agent is, but roughly, because I am also in the field and we ourselves developed AGACP, I'll encourage you guys to check it out. It's a generative AI agent framework. We call it as Autonomous Generative AI Communication Protocol, or AGACP. Essentially, an agent is nothing but a combination of software and machine learning tools that enable the system to act on the commands of their other systems or human beings and execute a task. So this task could be very complicated tasks, such as opening a website, testing it end to end, filing bugs and fixing those bugs as well. Or it could be as simple as going to a e-commerce website, placing an order on your behalf and making a payment. So based upon how complex the job is, agent have to have that kind of complexity. Now, all these larger companies have done enough of that chat GPT and question answer frameworks, etc. But everyone has realized that that will not really create the dent that they were looking forward in the last 2 years in the enterprises. And to be able to really enter the enterprises and really make a dent, they will have to solve complex problems. And that's the reason everyone is coming out with the agents. So, long story short, an agent is a software which combines machine learning and other software to solve a problem. Problem can be very complex or can be very simple. So, as long as you make analytics and machine learning actionable, that's what an agent does. So, I guess I'm clarified what agent is. Now let's move on to the next thing. So you would also start hearing a lot of things like rappers, and rappers are being used most recently in a recent interview by CEO of Perplexity, which is a generative AI search engine. The guy actually mentioned that OpenAI is a rapper of NVIDIA, much like AWS is a rapper over, let's say, Dell or HP or other hardware devices that is there, much like Netflix is a wrapper on AWS, and so on and so forth. Somebody can even go further saying that NVIDIA is a wrapper on TMSC, which actually builds the actual chips that go in the silicon essentially that goes in, right? I mean, so in that limited sense, yes, but rather than using the word wrapper, I would use the word stack. So when you are building any kind of a company, there are different layers of stack at which you operate. So for instance, companies such as NVIDIA work at the hardware layer, or the layer that is at the bottom of the pyramid. TMSC works at the silicon layer. They are building the wafers for those chips, etc. So they are even a layer lower than what an NVIDIA operates. Then OpenAI or any other software company that uses GPU is building their application on top of those GPUs. So that's a layer above that. And then enterprise companies may actually build applications on top of OpenAI or leveraging other machine learning models, etc. So they are one layer above. So if you think about end users like myself, right now I am at the top of the stack. That doesn't mean that I'm just a wrapper of something what is underneath me, right? But you can say I'm using or leveraging the services that are underneath me. That doesn't, so wrapper is in a sense is a very minimalistic thing, wherein you don't add any genuine value to the product, there is no value addition, that kind of product can be considered as a wrapper. But whenever you add your own business logic, you add a lot of value, and the final product is much more valuable than the underneath layers that existed, then it is a stack, like a vertical stack, right? And for that matter, every company that is built has a vertical stack. Now the question is, what layers of the stack that you own? You would see that most of the cloud companies nowadays have started owning different layers of the stack. Not only they own the software, but they are more so getting into the hardware side of the business as well through open compute and things along the lines of software defined cloud, software defined networking, software defined compute, things along those lines. So they have already got into those kind of areas. And largely all major cloud players nowadays are investing money heavily in building their own chips that will compete directly with GPU. So Google already has TPU. Amazon is also building their own thing. They're also building their own large language models. They are building software services on top of that so that you can access these models and build your software on top of that. So in the software stack itself, they have multiple layers that they're capturing. Now they're getting into the large language models also, which they're capturing, and then they have started building their own chips as well that they're capturing. And on the very fundamental compute layer, networking layer, also they're getting into the business that wherein they'll start directly competing with your Broadcom and NetApps and Junipers and Cisco's of the world as well. So that's known as owning the complete stack. So the right wording is stack. Everybody uses some services that are being provided by the stack underneath. So for instance, I'm right now recording this session over my MacBook, right? So there is an operating system that is running, which is a Mac operating system, that is providing services to this Chrome web browser that is running on my system. So Chrome, I cannot say, is a wrapper on Mac. Chrome is a software by itself, a browser which is running on the Mac operating system, and the Mac operating system is running on the MacBook Air PC that I have, the laptop that I have, right? So all of them are different pieces of the stack. And then I'm using YouTube on the Chrome. So YouTube is not a wrapper on Chrome. YouTube is leveraging code to basically record my video and basically presenting to other people, things along those lines. So I think that clarifies what a stack is and how this is not a wrapper. However, you would have seen there have been many software companies, mainly not software companies, but many startups that came out as a wrapper for OpenAI or ChatGPT. So what these companies were doing, they were just creating very rudimentary features on top of what already ChatGPT already tries to do, and hence those companies basically one after the another kept on going down. So if you don't add additional value and just use something that already exists and just manipulate the data and that show it in a present it in a different way, or like do very minimalistic work, then you can be taken over by the services being provided by the lower layer itself. OpenAI any day can produce those kind of things and eliminate those kind of startups, and that's why you saw those wrapper companies move away. But by no means any of the companies that we are talking, whether it is OpenAI or Microsoft or Google, they are wrappers on something that already exists. So that's very important that we make this distinction. Now that we understand the agents in generative AI or AI in general, and we understand the wrapper, like, so the right word is stack, we should use the word stack. It's important to know as we head into 2025, what kind of impact can we see in the world and what are the industries that are going to get toppled as we look forward. So as we head into 2025, the battle is already brewing for the agent frameworks, right? And as I said, I myself am also biased because I also came out with my own. Again, I came out with this because I saw the real need in the industries after working in several retailers and fintech companies. I saw that there was a real need of having an agent framework that can leverage an existing, LLM or any kind of AI models that you have and apply it to specific problems in enterprises. Same way many companies are doing that as well, right? So let's start out some of the use cases. So as it is, you would have seen that many movies that are coming nowadays. So you might have seen Ramayan movie came in, right? If you basically see last year, I think, right, they used a lot of scenes, and they never did actual videography or anything like that. Everything they were doing was through either AI or VFX. And they were able to create this big movie. I think Ramayan, that was the name of the movie, or I forgot what was the Adi Purush. I think Adi Purush was the name of the movie. Yeah, there was a South actor in that movie. Whatever his name was, I forgot his name. And Kriti Sanan was, I think, Sita, and that movie completely flopped. It was blockbuster movie, and they spent close to like 500 crore or something in that, right? And it was mostly actor fees and all. But essentially, if you see, that movie was shot behind green screen. It was all computer generated animation and things along those lines. So that's a great use. And now, as the video models will become even better, like the Sora model that OpenAI is coming out with, more and more movies will be now produced directly on the sets. You will not have to go to any hotels or any scenic places, etc. You can do everything right there in your studio itself. Similarly, you will see a lot of music videos that come right now. They're all produced right in your studio. You don't even have to shoot any kind of videos, or you don't have to do any kind of music mixing, etc. It is all being done in the studio itself. So the main point that I would like to make here is that you will see that there was a song, pehle bhi main, from this movie, Animal, right? It became very very hit. Vishal Mishra was the original singer of this song, but one of the persons created a AI version in Mukesh's voice, right? That song has become so hit that in the recent Sare, like Indian Idol, one of the singers actually sang this song, "Pehle bhi main tumse mila hoon," and then he like ended the song on like the AI version of Mukesh. He sang that as well, equally well, actually, right? And that gives you an, like, it's both scary and good both at the same time. The good is because Mukesh is long dead, and to hear his voice, how he would have sung today's song, is a player to like hear out, right? However, the scary part is, if you can impersonate Mukesh, you can impersonate basically anyone, like whether it is Arijit Singh, or is it any person who is dead or alive. You can basically, all you need is training data, and with today's tools, it has become extremely easy to do that. So as we move forward, you will see more and more use of AI to produce movies and produce songs. A lot of them will be done, as you can see, both in Bollywood and Hollywood. That's one, a big impact here. Secondly, you would see a lot of universities have now banned the use of generative AI or chat GPT, etc., because many of the papers that are being published are leveraging chat GPT and all. The worst part is that if you use chat GPT and tools such as these generative AI tools, you will soon find out that they use a lot of repeated words. They just make everything verbose. So it is good as an assistant, but if you just use that to build everything, then you are in a big in for a rude surprise. Actually, it is going to be a disaster. I have used multiple of those tools, whether it is Gemini or OpenAI, Chat GPT. I've done many of those, and every time I use them, initially it is fancy because you just basically write a prompt and it does generate you quite a bit of thing. But you have to proofread it, make sure it is doing what you really wanted it to do, update it multiple times, and only then you get a like a good thing. It's still helpful if you know what you really want to do, right? So that is going to be a big thing. So let me read a question. Sahil is asking, what is the future of IT next 4 years in America and Canada, especially for NRIN students? So this AI, what I'm discussing right now, as we know, has basically shifted the role of IT actually. So everyone now will have to understand AI and its impact. People who used to just do basic web development or basic Python data management or data engineering, etc., will find it increasingly difficult to land a role actually in the next few years. As you would see, all the companies are either laying off people or they have stopped hiring. So there is a company by the name of Klarna. If you see, they have said that they are no longer going to hire not even a single person going forward. This could be a publicity stunt as well, but there is definitely some truth in this statement. Similarly, lot of people right now are evaluating where they can cut resources. Every company that I know is basically eliminating resources either 10%, 15%, or 20% in varying different degrees. This process started out in the tech industries 2 years ago, but has now caught up by all different kind of industries in retail, in finance, in construction industries. Everywhere, the AI is having an impact. I was already giving you the example of film production and music production industry. So you can imagine, now you are no longer going to need all those music directors and music composers and music lyricists and things like that. Of course you are going to need them, but you will not be going to be needing them in that amount of numbers. And if you have a concept and if you're able to craft the concept easily, then through the outcome that the AI derives, you may be able to get the entire music or the lyrics or the notes as you want it, in the way, shape, or form as you want it actually. So it is going to make your work a lot more easier. It is going to improve your productivity multiple times, and because of those reasons, it will create a joblessness for a lot of people in the industry. So it is no different, because it is the area which has biggest impact because of AI, because pretty much everyone I know now is using chat gpt or co-pilots in building their software. All companies are now using it left, right, and center, like whether they admit it or not. And I know of all the engineers that work in their workflow are using it. It's not perfect, but it is better than just doing search on Google. You can just do it over chat gpt or any copilot that you're using right now. And to for simple tasks, it can generate the script, the code, etc., fairly easily, and then you can build on top of it. So going from 0 to 1, it really helps a lot. It's not perfect, as I said. You have to proofread it, you have to update it, edit it, etc. And if you are not good at prompting and all, it can be really a big nightmare actually. So for NRIs and students, I would say, next few years are going to be pretty tough. I think 2025, at least first quarter, I can see is tough, because Trump is also coming to power. So a lot of things can change. I will share those things as well, because just today he announced that he has had a meeting with all, like Sundar Pichai, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, all of them, and Mayoshi San from Japan. And Mayoshi San has earmarked $100 billion investment in the US, and creating maybe 100,000 jobs. So this could be just like a political gimmick, but there could be reality too. I mean, Mayoshi San has all the money, and they invested very heavily in Indian market as well, many of the Asian markets and the rest of the world. And they used to make very, very deep investments across the world, like many big companies, whether it's Arm or Uber, Flipkart, Gojek. So many companies have been invested by Mayoshi San and their team. So this could basically change the game. Once Trump comes to the power, we'll have to look into see. But the way things are going right now, I will not bank on like too many jobs being created in the IT sector, especially for fresh engineers or NRIs who are dependent upon H1 visa, or who are looking to get their first gig after their MS or BS, whatever that they are doing. So it will be a little bit of a tight market. So better plan for alternatives. You can check out some podcasts that we have created, whether getting enrolled into a PhD program, or possibly going back to India and trying out certain things there, would be some of the options I will suggest. So next question is from Akshat Rastogi. Sir, do you think the people who attach the purpose of life with what, I mean, job, will have hard time in coming years? Yes, there is a specific podcast where I talk about never have your identity associated with your work or title, or for that matter money. You should definitely check that podcast out. It's in Hindi though, and I think that as quickly we learn about that. Work, your title, your status in the industry, or in the family, or in the market, these are all transient things. At the end of the day, your own health, your mental peace, your family, they are more important, because once you lose your health or your mental peace, or your family, it's extremely difficult to get it back. But once you lose your job or title or money, there are still going to be an opportunity. If everything else works out, you can still get it again. So that's what I'll leave you with. And this will have an impact always, not only in the coming years. So let me read the next question. We need to rethink the purpose of education of life. Till now, the end goal of education is to get a job. Yeah, I think this is a problem with a lot of middle class, and I am also one of the guilty as charged, as they say it, right? Because coming from a middle class family from India, and putting feet here in the US almost 2 decades ago, right? um, I also focused very heavily on like money, title, getting promotions in the job, etc. But luckily for me, I realized this much early on, almost 15 years back, that it is about your mental health, it is about your personality, it is about your family, and well-being is much more important than the title, the money that the company pays. And I was able to dissociate myself from the title and the family and focus more on things that I like, whether it is dancing, singing, making sure my health is good, eating the right thing, sleeping on time, etc. And that is why you will see many times when I am ending my podcast, I'll make the suggestions that spend time with your family, go out, eat good foods, have sleep, things along those lines. So I think when you come from a scarcity mindset, which is what my mindset was also, now I'm privileged that I can always comment back and say that, oh, we shouldn't be doing that. But if somebody would have told me at that point of time, I wouldn't have listened to them as well. So as I said, at that time, until you reach a certain stage, right, wherein you think that you have enough money and you don't have to worry about your food and shelter and life and things like that, then you can think about other higher goals, etc. But until you have met those kind of limits, it will be very difficult to think otherwise. So that is why many people are in that rat race. They have to continuously keep working, etc. Unfortunate part is people forget what that threshold is. So there was a like a saying that once you start making like 100K or 120K, after that whatever you earn, it is just going to add more money, but it is not going to increase your standard of living in the US. So I say like 120K is still low. Maybe like if you put 200K for a single person, I'm saying, not as a like a family, right? It's a different ball game if you are a family and if you live in like Manhattan or San Francisco or in Seattle, then 200K for a family of four is going to be like just getting by basically. But fact of the matter is, like, there is going to be a like a thing. If you earn that much every year, then you are going to be able to cover most of your things and most of the things that you want, if you are a reasonable person, of course. If you want to buy Aston Martin and go in Lamborghini and whatnot, then basically no money will be enough. But for a middle class person, that's how the thinking is. So I think we definitely need to switch those things. And since the kids are being born and they're growing up, they need to understand the value of health, eating good, uh, building relationships, and not running behind just the money and the job and the things along those lines, which unfortunately in my part also, that's what I did for at least half of my career. Initially, or the first decade of my career, that's exactly what I did as well. So yeah, that needs to change. But as I was saying, AI is here to stay, and it is already appending several industries. So we already talked about filmmaking, art, production, and music. Now let's move on to the legal profession. So in legal profession, you will see that a lot of law is done based upon what has happened in the past. So there are a lot of cases that are there. So there is a lot of documentation out there that you have to review. You also have to have case papers for the existing case that you want to basically pursue. So it requires a lot of data reading, like text reading, reviewing previous cases, etc. And it's a perfect use case for generative AI. So you can use it to summarize, you can use it to narrate, you can use it to chronologically order what things happen, when what happened, etc. And also ask a decision as to, given the facts of the case, where do you think the strength of the case is, and things along those lines. So a lot of companies are now focusing on legal tech, where they're automating this legal, whether it is case search or being able to do analysis on a given case, or whether this case is good enough, does it have likelihood of winning or not. Those kind of assistance and summarization are being done in the legal profession, and anyone who wants to start a startup in this area is a prime area. You can go ahead and try to do that. Next, I would say, is medical profession. So we talked about text, but then if you see, especially in the radiography and sonography, ultrasound, CT scan, MRI, those areas you generate a lot of these images which are used to detect different kind of ulcers, tumors, cancers, and other such kind of deformities in the human body, right? uh, you can use AI systems, and they are being used as we speak right now to detect these kind of ulcers, cancers, and things along those lines. And apparently, it seems like that using this software, they're doing a better job than even the radiologists that are there, because radiologists also try to find patterns, seeing the different colors and shades in the human anatomy to figure out if there is something weird going on, whether it is to do with cancer or any other kind of screening, right? So a lot of these machines which now do MRI and CT scans, etc., are already equipped with this kind of we call it as computer perception software, which is nothing but again a machine learning focused on imaging right now. So as we move forward, lot more systems will start using it pretty heavily, to a point where basically it will be completely fully automated. Actually, even the report generation would also be so. A radiologist will only oversee, like, if there is any known mistakes or any kind of oversight, etc., to say whether they can pass this report or not. But major heavy lifting will be done by the AI system itself. So it is already happening as we see, because like, as you probably already know, many of you know, we go for the cancer checkup regularly, and we see in the reports that it is generated by AI nowadays. Of course, it is signed by a radiologist, and then it is reviewed by the medical doctor, but already those assistance is being provided as we speak right now. Another area where I think it can create a lot of impact, and that's also another startup that I was trying to make. Unfortunately, I couldn't gather funding for it and build like a team to like start working upon it. But that's area I'm very passionate about as well. So we have this concept of electronic health records, where you have all your vital statuses taken and recorded. So I was looking to see if we can create a system whereby all your medical history from your childhood till date, all your blood tests that have been done, your diabetes, your sugar levels, your cholesterol levels, all of those vital status that are there, they're recorded over a period of time. So it gives you an indication, like, are you moving towards more chronic diseases, or you are stable condition, or you're going worse condition. And leverage that kind of information when you go to a doctor. So when you are going for, let's say, I'm having cold and cough, and you visit a doctor, rather than just seeing the symptoms at that point of time, they should also get a snapshot of your entire history of what has happened to you in the past. Because they ask all these questions, but they never like focus on that. Like in the US, you will see whenever you go for a doctor appointment, they'll make you fill a lot of paperwork, which will have you had cancer, do you have heart disease, this, but they don't pay much attention to it, right? It's just like repeated paperwork. What if we had a system that already has that all this information, plus it has all the vital records over a period of time. So when the doctor sees you, he not only sees you as a person to see what your current like pulse rate is, heart rate is, and temperature and whatnot, and see your symptoms right now, but is also be able to see the summary of your what has happened with you in the past, and use both this information to now suggest you what should be your diagnostic, and what are the prescriptions that they are going to advise you right now. So that portion, the historical perspective portion, I think is missing, and that's what needs to be automated and brought as a like a summary and things like that. Similarly, if a person is going through some complex issues, like in this case like cancer and all, there are a lot of tests that you have to conduct: MRI, CT, and then you have to do PET scan. Like there's so many tests that happen, and oftentimes it is possible that doctor gets overwhelmed, and they may have oversight, or they may basically miss some of these important things. So it's very important. You should have another system to make sure that it checks each and every of these prescriptions, each of every of these tests, brings them together to the doctor and highlight certain important things that are there, mark them, so that doctor at least checks boxes that okay, I have done this, I have done this, I have done this, I have done this, so that there is no oversight. I think we need to have that kind of system, and right now that doesn't exist at this point of time. Let me ask another question. Naman, should one pursue a master's in AI from US, already earning 30 lakh per annum, 3 years old in backend in India? Interesting thing. I think you are earning pretty handsomely in India at a 3 year old experience. Making 30 lakhs in India is very good. But just for the fact of, having the US experience so that you can make better decisions, I would encourage, given I'm assuming since you are 3 years of experience, you are probably in your 25, 26 years old at this point of time. So I would like advise you, you should definitely come to the US. Whether you come for a master's or not, that's your personal choice based upon what your finances are, etc. But if you can like do an intercompany transfer, I don't know which company you're working, but if it is US company and you work for big tech, then there is a possibility you can transfer there. Or if not, then maybe use an H1B agent who can like get you a job here in the US. Or if not, if nothing else is left, then of course you can do a master's and come here. But I think if you have means and you have passion for it, you are independent person and you can take some risk, it's definitely worth it to come to the US. One, you can increase your salary many folds like right away as soon as you come to US, because here you'll start out at like 150 200K right away, right? Even if you use PPP, whatever you use, and if you have to return back to India, that money will be pretty high as compared to India. And whatever you are going to save is going to be in dollar, and when you go back to India, by that time it will be already touching maybe 90 rupees or maybe even 100 rupees. Right now it is already at around 85 rupees, right? A dollar is 85 rupees. So I think it's a definitely good thing given your finances and all. But at 3 year old making 30 lakh, you're already doing pretty good, I would say. In India, by no means you are at a lower level. But if you would have told me you are making less than 10 lakh and all, then I would have definitely advised you that this is below par salary at the moment. uh, if 20 lakh, 15 to 20 lakh is like at par. Anything above that is like cherry on the cake, so you're doing fairly very good. So congratulations, Naman, for that. Now I would say that now we discussed about filmmaking, music industry, we talked about legal, we talked about medical. You can understand there is this big impact in industries, and none of these are tech industries, right? But tech and AI is heavily impacting all of these. Tech I did not discuss because we already know it is already causing a lot of storm within the tech. That is why you are seeing so many layoffs across big tech and several other companies that are not even in big tech but are related in the tech industries as well. So as these AI systems become even more powerful, which is what they will become over a period of time, you would see that more industries, whether it is construction, retail, taxation, consulting, they will start adopting more and more of these tools to automate their systems. Another industry I think which will get completely battered is your strategy and management consulting. So your KPMG, your not KPMG, McKinsey, Boston Consulting Group, and other kind of specialized consulting companies. They generate a lot of paperwork like PowerPoint presentations, strategies, and things like that. And they also generate a lot of reports like Gartner Hype Cycle, Gartner report, and Nelson report, and things like that. All the companies in the business of consulting, analytics, etc., uh, have started using these tools to generate these reports. Because they're based upon data, it's very easy to manipulate that and come up with those insights rather easily. So I would assume that a lot of those junior analysts, junior data roles across these consulting organizations will start diminishing in value, because now an expert analyst or a senior principal analyst, etc., can just use these tools to do those fundamental research which was initially being done by a junior analyst and junior VCs and things like that. So I see even this industry will get completely upended in the next few years. So I think the future will be tight as we move on to the next year. I expect in 2025 that the focus will be a lot more on these agents. That trend is already started beginning right now, so it will become mainstream in Q1 and Q2 next year. I see a lot more company adopting generative AI, etc. But as I said, it also has its other side. You can't trust it as it is. You have to thoroughly test it. You have to have guardrails around any work that you do in the AI. Mostly it will be adopted by different enterprises which are much more tuned to using tech to do automation, and you'll continue to see muted market uh, with respect to hiring. So when I said muted market means that the big tech may still hire a little bit less or not hire as much, but again Trump will come, he can create certain kind of political pressure, etc., where they cut down all the H1Bs and force them to hire US citizens or green card holders and things like that, which can create an like artificial demand within the US talent market. So that is possible next year, but until that happens, I can't say that, but that's a possibility that could happen. But how industry is moving, how the shift is happening, I suspect that now some of these jobs that have been eliminated, they're not never going to come back again, or they will come in very very less numbers, because it's almost like they say, right, lion has already tasted blood, so they're not going to go vegan after that. Once you taste blood, you go completely carnivorous. So that's where it is. Even though I'm a like a vegetarian myself, and I would not taste blood or any kind of meat or anything like that, I was just using it as a like a metaphor here. So that's all from my side. I hope you like this discussion. Great questions as always, people have asked. If there are any further questions, I'm happy to respond to them. Okay, there is a question by Akshat Rastogi. Trump said he will make policies to give green card for anyone graduating with a master's or PhD immediately. Yeah, he has made a lot of such kind of statements, including the investment, including tax reduction. We'll have to see what he does once he basically comes to power. So those are just suggestions. He also said that he is going to stop the wars between Ukraine and Russia and Israel and Iran. So we'll have to see what exactly he's able to do and what he exactly does. So time will tell basically. So we'll keep waiting for that one. So anything else if anyone has, I'll love to answer those. If not, then I'm going to wrap up. And again, before I do, I would suggest that please like, share, and subscribe, and let us know if there is any topic that you would like me to cover. And in addition to that, I would say it's a winter season. We are wrapping up this year. We are already halfway past in December. So please eat right, exercise, sleep well, spend time with your friends and family, and again, do not associate your identity to your job or your title or your money. So with that, I'll say bye for now, and we'll get back to you again with a new topic in a new podcast. Bye.